Everybody, welcome to Alumni Panel hosted by UzSA at Baruch College. We have our amazing panelists today that is ready to speak to us about their career journeys, and very excited to introduce you to them. Next slide, please. Sorry, a little bit about ourselves. UzSA, Uzbek Student Association at Baruch College. Our mission is to bring together all Uzbek students into one big community to socialize, network, and work on career development with the help of our alumni and other volunteers outside of Baruch. And next slide, we have our amazing background on our amazing speakers. First of all, Muhsin Tojibaev. He's our former UzSA president that has graduated Baruch College in 2021 with a finance and investment BBA. And he's currently marketing operations at Bloomberg. Next, we have Ilmira Shamsutdinova. She graduated Baruch College in 2021 with a degree in economics. She's currently a trading services analyst at JP Morgan Chase & Co. Next, we have Mukhsina Nurilloeva. She graduated Baruch College in 2021 with accounting and finance degree. She's currently wealth management rotational analyst at Morgan Stanley. Next, we have Ibrahim Sadikov. He's a senior data scientist at Vanguard. We are really amazed by his background in data science. And we have a lot of data analytics majors currently at UzSA that are really interested in his career journey. So we're really lucky to have him in this panel. He graduated from University of Westminster and BA in economics and finance, and also graduated from the University of North Carolina, at Charlotte, acquiring his master's in data science and business analytics. Thank you all for being here, for being willing to answer our questions for the next hour or so. All right, let's get started with our first question, which is, what is your current position and how did you prepare for your career? Anybody here on our panelists ready to start us off?
I can go first. So I'm Mukhsina, graduated from Baruch in 2021. I majored in accounting, and during my time in Baruch, I was very active. Not active in like many clubs, but active in, I always had an internship either in the summer or while going to school. So I started interning at like a boutique firm. It was like a fashion firm for 3 months as a bookkeeper. And then during my time there, I was kind of looking for more opportunities to expand and to go to more accounting roles. So for a year, I interned at Geller & Company, which then it got acquired by Bloomberg, actually. And after doing a year there and going to school at the same time, I got an amazing opportunity to intern at a Big Four at PwC. So I was there from 6 months, and then during my junior year of summer, I really wanted to make the transition from accounting to finance. Even though I was an accounting major, I really wanted to make that transition. So I was very lucky that I applied for the Morgan Stanley Wealth Management Analyst Program in the summer. Did a summer there. It was like a 6 weeks program. I got an offer to come back once I graduated. So got the offer, came back a year after, took my SIE Series 3, Series 7, Series 63, and then started my role as a full-time in wealth management at Morgan Stanley.
I guess I can go next. As you heard, I went to Baruch as well. I spent 3.5 years because I was a transfer student from another CUNY. I feel like, just I'm not gonna keep it professional. It's more of a conversational level. I feel like Baruch is like humbling place where everyone comes and starts off from zero to like to learn in different industries and be able to grow into like professional and learn interpersonal skills that can take them to a longer journey in their careers. And when we joined together with Uzbek Students Association, we sort of started this, and we were like going to like be more involved. But then, as you guys know, COVID started. Then we were like kind of like silo. Then I graduated July of 2021, so it was mostly like remote. So finishing off during the COVID was a different journey, whereas traditional seniors would have a different experience with their college life. Then, I had, during that time, I was very involved with like different career development agencies and tried to learn different skills, a lot of networking and reaching out to like professionals in the Uzbek professionals page on LinkedIn and even outside. And I think like my journey to where I am right now is just like trying different things. Like I have internship in accounting, I have internship in business sales, and really like financial side and like business side and marketing side. Now I sit in marketing operations, which it might sound like, oh, what is that? Like, what do you do? I'm really the coordinator between the procurement, finance, and marketing leadership to budget global budget for Bloomberg, which sounds a lot, but then that's like really like where the FP&A comes in, and where we can speak. I can speak more in details, but that's my role, and that's where I come from. And how I prepare to this role is like really trying everything that comes to my hand and taking advantage of it and making it the best for myself.
I can go next. Assalamu alaikum, everyone. I am Ibrahim. Nice to meet you, all of you. And there is some connection with Baruch. I'm not totally from Baruch, but I did my graduate certification in MFE program. I don't know if you guys still have that program with Dan Stefanica, Master of Financial Engineering. Yeah, they have a graduate certificate program I did in Baruch. But I then considered to do my master's degree in UNC School of Data Science. And I successfully graduated, but my bachelor's was totally different field, like economics plus finance. But anyways, fundamentals of the economics is very much helpful in data science daily jobs. So currently, I have spent a couple years as a data scientist. I worked in a consulting firm, and then I worked with healthcare company, pretty much a diverse background in different fields of data science. In my previous work, I have been mostly involved with NLP, and most of the time is NLG kind of task of data science work. And currently I am a senior data scientist at Vanguard. So I'm the part of the customer experience team, where we work a lot with huge data sets to analyze the customer voices, what they're talking about, what their like sentiment about the wealth management, and etc. So it's really fun, challenging, but at the same time rewarding. Thank you.
I guess I can start now. So I've graduated from Baruch, as everyone know now. During my years in Baruch, I have done like 2 internships in more of a finance field in summers, and then with COVID, it was actually hard to find anything. So I graduated, and I didn't have anything particularly that I wanted to do. I was kind of like lost, and I was working, but it wasn't something that I wanted to do. So then I applied to Society General, and I got the internship. It was a one-year internship as a hedge fund administrator. So that actually helped me to get my step into JP Morgan. And as a hedge fund administrator, I would do like lots of collateral management, such as like hedge funds, equities, loans, bonds, and like mutual funds. I would monitor cash statements, like demand deposit accounts. So with that, I did land a job in Soc Gen, but it wasn't something that I wanted to do. So right now it's actually, I've been in with JP, it's been less than 3 months, or just 2 months. So I'm still in my learning curve. So that's me for now.
That's
Congrats on the new
interesting.
journey.
Thank you.
Absolutely, congratulations to all of you, because your journey is really neat and is inspiring, kind of for us to hear and learn from. Thank you for sharing that. Our next question is, what skills and abilities and personal attributes are essential to success in your job in this field? Let's start with Muhsin, if that's okay.
Yeah, I think briefly, there's really no standard skills to fit into like any job. I think mainly is interpersonal skills to like be able to solve problems and think outside the box. I know it's like really cliche way of saying like what you should do and what is think outside the box, but I feel like seeing the bigger picture of what the ask is, and usually that takes time, and having to practice a lot of public speaking helps as well. And usually like you guys are familiar, even joining classes, like you get to put on spotlight where you need to speak, where you need to present, and that's something like it can't be taught, but it's sort of like needs to be trained and practiced over time. And this is why it's great to have events like this, or even in person, to really practice those skills, because that's really what's more important, because you learn other skills on the job itself.
Absolutely, totally agreed. Next up, if anything you have to add, Mukhsina, anything you could add to this question?
It's
I'm not sure if am I breaking.
I think she's breaking up.
Okay. Okay. All right.
Is it better
Mukhsina,
now?
I'm so sorry. I think so. But if not, I could give you a few minutes. Okay. We'll give you a few minutes. I will ask Ibrahim the same question, then come back to Mukhsina. Sorry about that.
Sure.
Thank you.
You want me to answer this question?
So just repeat the question. What skills and abilities and personal attributes are essential to success in your job and field? I know you're in data science, so it's a lot of data analytics majors are here. So we'd love to hear your advice.
So sure. So as you guys know, like data science is more of a like multidisciplinary field, right? So it's not just you need to know one thing, basically. So it's just the connection of software engineering, statistics, mathematics, and also like communications as well. So first of all, technical side of that, you should be very good at programming languages, mostly like a Python. And it's good if you have like R skills as well. And also you need to have a very good understanding of cloud technology. Right now, maybe in your grad school or in a bachelor degree, they don't emphasize much on the cloud technology, but right now most of the companies are moving towards cloud, and understanding like any cloud services like AWS, GCP, or Azure are very critical nowadays. So if you have any certificates on that class, like on that cloud technology tools, that's always plus. And thirdly, of course, fundamentals like statistics, data mining is very crucial. So never underestimate their importance. This is number 2. And also communication skill, why it's important, because rather than like what's the difference between software engineers and like data scientists? They directly usually work with business people. Like software engineers, like you are just given a task like create a feature, but data scientists like really solving the business problems. So, and they don't understand technical stuff much. So being a bridge, like interpreting your results in a more understandable way, like a data storytelling kind of stuff, is very much important. So you need to understand the business, how to talk with them. Subject matter expertise is always useful. For example, in my previous career, previous job, I had a healthcare, which was very far from my background. But it takes time to understand healthcare industry. What is it? What kind of terms are used, and what is the subject matter there? So it's very important. So I think this is the 3 most important things. But in order to pass the interview, you need to have a very good technical skills for sure. Yeah.
Thank you for that. Coming back to Mukhsina, is it a good time?
Can you guys hear me now?
Yes.
Amazing. Sorry about that. I would agree that I think interpersonal skills like communication, being able to present, being good, like even writing emails, business writing is very important, critical skill. Other skill I would say to be successful in any role is just asking really good questions. So if someone's explaining something, asking good questions to understand the process, being very motivated and having the right attitude, I think it's just it's a very rare trait to have when someone is giving you a mundane role, especially right out of college. We're not all going to be in senior positions, but we're going to start off with an analyst, associate. So having the right attitude when you're giving a mundane work at times, and then always raising your hand for new opportunities. I think this is a really good skill to have. It just shows you that you want to grow in a role. You want to be the best version of yourself. So, and any technical skill, I strongly believe that anyone can be taught, even Excel, PowerPoint, Tableau. I do think those are things you can learn, but a good worker, like someone who's motivated, someone who doesn't give up, someone who, your managers can depend on you. I don't think that can be taught. So definitely interpersonal skills.
Thank you. Thank you. So we have Ilmira. Would you like to go next?
Yeah,
for this question?
Just to add to everyone else, which I agree, some of the things that helped me to get my job was some of the certification that if anyone's trying to break into investment banking, is taking the least you can do is taking certification like SIE, and then I know they do sponsorship afterwards, but that also I felt helped me, just because I did learn a lot. And just start with your skills, anything like Excel, communications, just as everyone said. So I would not repeat everything, but agree.
Thank you. Thank you for adding on. My next question is for specifically targeting towards Mukhsina and Muhsin. What is something that you absolutely loved being part of during your undergrad years? Remembering a few things that you said in the previous questions, I just wanted to ask this question again to get more specific.
I think, yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead, Muhsin.
No, yeah.
I'll go. I think the Burridge Career Center is a very good place to start for any school, whatever. I think career centers are in general like a really good place to start. When I was at Berg, I joined a lot of professional development career programs like Peers to Careers. I think it's still there. Rising Sophomore program. I think one of the reasons why I joined, and I think the purpose of UzSA is we don't have parents, we don't have sisters who come from like a finance or corporate job, and when we're navigating, we need support. We can't, like learning the professional etiquette, like after you meet someone, sending a thank you email, like little things that make a difference when you're doing interviews, when you're networking, little things that sometimes it's not taught in schools or in classes. So I think if I could, I think the professional development programs at Berk were really amazing. It was like a very good starting step, just understanding what the employers look at. They help me, update my resume, to help me prepare for interviews. And at the same time, it really broadened my network. Like, there are people who, because I'm an accounting major, there are people I sat with in CIS, like I our paths would have never interacted, but it was because of this program, I was able to expand my network. And then I definitely think like culture programs like these, when you're, like being Uzbek is part of ourselves. So being very proud of being part of programs like this, I think employers do take a care, do look at things like this in your resume, because it just shows that, who you are is very important, and that you're able to bring diversity to their firm too, and that you're going to be very vocal about your culture. So I do think employers care about these things. And then I think the last one, again, I think just any professional development clubs, like I'm IMG, I think there's one, the Wall Street Club, like anything. I think those clubs are very good work.
Thank you. Coming back to Muhsin.
Yeah, I think I emphasize on that, like being able to, like, even if you're not sure about certain classes, right? Because those are material and you don't want to be procrastinating, and approach people at SAC, maybe take tutorings. That's really helpful. And I feel like 4 years in college just goes by really quickly, and that's the time that people really like want to enjoy their time and go out. But I feel like rather people need to focus on the classes they actually taking and making, learning the material. I know there's like textbooks, but some people actually don't open it for a semester or so. So I feel like when you join a class and you're paying for it, I feel like best case is that you take the most out of it, and even after, like just go back to it, because those are the basic skills that you're putting on your resume that you know it at your job, and you're going to be asked for it. And aside from that, Baruch is a diverse place, so being able to like join any clubs is, like Mukhsina said, it's great. Just no one's gonna really come to you and show you something that you haven't heard of. So it's really up to you guys to like really approach different people, nudge them, hey, show me this, show me that. That's really important.
Thank you. Ibrahim, you have a lot of academia experience. Is there anything that you absolutely loved being part of during your undergrad, during your master's, that you can add on to the discussion?
What I'm proud of?
What is something that you did that made an impact?
Oh, okay. So during my undergrad time, and I just what I like about Westminster is that it's a very like you don't have to attend the classes and tutorials and lectures. This is what I like most. So maybe it's not related for this panel, but they give so much freedom, and that's why I was able basically do my self-development in areas that I want to do. So that helped me a lot, being like independent, giving it the chance. But the second one is what I'm proud of when I was doing my grad school is I participated in multiple hackathons. So if you're a data scientist and you want to pursue your career and you want to build your network, it's the best place to be, right? So participating in the hackathons, like data hackathons, and I won a couple of them. They have very good amount of money you can win. Plus, you will get a lot of network because the people who win, and there will be a lot of like senior managers from different companies, right? They can approach to you and say, hey, are you interested in the position? Are you looking for a job, right? So this is a very good place to network and plus basically showcase your knowledge. So this is one thing I'm proud of. And thirdly is that the doing data science itself is a very challenging thing. As I mentioned above, it's a multidisciplinary field where you have to be. So I haven't heard, like, I didn't have any kind of software engineering background before. So before starting my grad school, so I can be proud of that. I gained some knowledge on that aspect as well. So yeah.
Absolutely, especially on the hackathons, I totally agree. Even I haven't won, but I still learn tons from hackathons. Always glad to attend.
Yeah, because it's like a 24-hour, and you need to do something in 24 hours. It's like a very good challenge, and it's like makes you do a lot of stuff basically.
Yes,
very good.
A lot of creative thinking and technical. Yeah. Ilmira, would you like to add on into this question?
Yes. Just can you repeat the question? Sorry.
Yeah, of course. No, of course. What is something that you absolutely loved being part of during your undergrad?
Something I loved was definitely some of the challenging classes that I took that like helped me to develop some of the skills, and also something exciting. Well, it wasn't exciting because the last 2 years of my undergrad was fully online, so we didn't have a lot of classes that were like participating, and then you would know how it goes. Yeah, just joining club actually too, like that was exciting. I did 2 clubs, and that definitely, like, you know, because school is still stressful, doing homeworks, taking your exams and everything, and just being also like excited about life too, because it's not just keeping everything super professional, it's also you have to have your own personality, because that's also super helpful during like getting a job as well.
I absolutely agree as well. Moving on to the next question. This is very interesting question because all of our panelists kind of have a similar major but different in a lot of ways. So my next question is, what helped your decision behind choosing your major? I know we understand how in-depth this question could be, or we welcome you to answer it vaguely. Could we start with Ilmira? Would you be okay to start us off?
Yes. So my major was economics, and it's actually super helpful where I am right now as a trader service, because we do a lot of economics decisions that like impact. So I'm gonna like a little bit like compromise with these questions, not just like why did I choose it. So with my right now current positions, I do reconciliation with the P&L. So that actually my economic background helped me to get this job, because it was one of the requirements for the positions, and I'm actually happy where I'm located, like where I am right now. I don't know, like why I chose economics. I don't know. It was just because I didn't want to do like accounting, or because I took a class in accounting. I was like, this is not for me. I was just unsure, like just not sure what I was going to do. I actually, after I graduated, I wasn't sure even if I wanted to be in this field. And I was actually was going to go back to school, but right now I'm just gonna focus on my job and doing my applications for my master's degree now.
That's exciting to hear. Good luck on your master's. I hope it goes well. Mukhsina, would you be willing to answer next?
I was an accounting major, guys. I think I chose accounting. I'll go back. Like I think the reason why I chose Baruch was because as I finished in high school, I just didn't know what I wanted to major in. And my sister had went to a private school upstate, and she definitely knew she wanted to do like organic chemistry. She wanted to be a surgeon, so she was very certain. So she was able to make the investment into like a private state school. I just felt as I was graduating, I was like at an opposite sphere. It was like I was good at math, I was good at social studies, but I still didn't know what was out there. So I told when choosing college, I said, let me choose Baruch. After a semester, I'm going to transfer to college, or after I figure out what I wanted to do. I think my first month at Baruch, I just fell in love. I think like Mukhsina said, it's very humbling, but it's humbling. It was very humbling because you saw a lot of these immigrant kids, but they're so motivated, and it just motivates you more. So while my time there, what Baruch has really good is you have to take some preliminary business classes like accounting intro, finance intro, and then when I was attending panels like these, one common message was like accounting is very stable. You can always get a job in accounting. It's still competitive, but again, you can still get a job. And I like the flexibility. I think even if you're in the economics role, even if you're in finance role, you still need to be able to read a P&L. You still need to read these accounting documents to make decisions. So I was like, well, okay, it's flexible, it's stable. And I think I was very happy in my choice, especially during my sophomore year, where I was able to get more internship opportunities because I was an accounting major. Because again, they were less competitive, I think, compared to finance, where it's like you could be junior and they're looking for like a 3-year experience. So again, at the end, I was very happy at my choice. But yeah, that was why I chose accounting.
Thank you for answering the question. Moving along, Ibrahim, would you give us a background on your choice of major during your BA and then your MS?
Yeah. So for my bachelor degree, there was not much choice to choose from. So I did my, first year as a commercial law student, but I didn't like it. So a lot of reading and talking. It's not for me. So I converted to economics, and then I also did my minor in finance. Honestly, I didn't know why I did it. I did it blindly, honestly, just like everybody was doing it. But when I was moving towards graduate school, I was thinking a lot. So because first of all, I had an option to do an MBA or quantitative finance or financial engineering. And then I came to realize of the existence of data science. Why I choose specifically data science, not like MBA or quantitative finance, is that quantitative finance is very much close to data science, right? They are also like statistics, more of a you have to be also good at the technical stuff, like programming skills as well. And it's very much squeezed, it's more of applicable to finance. For the MBA, it's also again, you will have a lot of classes. It's you will learn everything little bit by little bit, right? It's not also for me. So you don't have a very much exact specific knowledge in particular stuff. Yeah, if you want to be a manager or senior leader, it's really good thing to do, but maybe in your later career. But for me, it was too early. So then I chose to pursue my degree in data science, because I could work in any field. Doesn't matter if it's finance, healthcare, or any other field, right? And plus, basically, you will be working with broad tasks as well, right? It's not only like related to financial analytics or etc. So that's why I chose this direction. I'm very much happy with that choice.
Great. Last but not least, Muhsin, would you be able to answer this question as well?
Yeah, sure. I think it's really, from my perspective, it wasn't a hard decision to go to finance route, just because I wasn't good at anything else. Just math was my major and favorite class, and I felt like, that's the route I'll take, and I'm glad I did. But honestly, whether I did finance or CIS or music studies, it's not really what you studied for your bachelor's, because I have people on my team doing marketing or finance. Their background is from all over the place, and usually it's the skills that, like the certification skills or skills that they learned outside of what they studied, or maybe they're just better at what they learned towards their role, not based on, I guess, the basic skills that is taught at the bachelor's level. Just because I feel like it's more of an introductory to what the actual industry will look like. So you take a general finance and you take those corporate finance and analytics classes, but those are just to give you hints of what you will actually be, doing in broader scale. But I feel like, not to focus on what the naming convention of a specific major is, but rather to focus on what skills that is required to go into a specific role that you want to pursue.
Definitely makes sense. I definitely agree on that. Definitely working on a skill and transition is possible. So talking about transition, I wanted to talk about a little bit about your transition from college, completing your degrees and going into entry-level job, about life after graduation. And also, this question is going to be a little bit more deeper. What are your recommendations on preparing for this transition coming into your fields? This one, Mukhsina, would you be able to start us off on this one?
Yeah, of course.
Thank you.
In an internship or when you're in school, you're juggling a lot of things. You're juggling your schoolwork, you're juggling your internship, and your families too. So I think, but once you transition to an entry-level job, it's only like your work and your family. So you have less things to kind of balance, but the pressure is much more higher, I think, once you're in an entry-level job, because things like promotion, things like bonus, and little factors come into place, which makes you a little bit more stressed out, I think. But at the same time, I do think doing internships when you're in school does prepare you once you enter entry jobs. I think the best way to prepare, is just learning those skills before you transition off entry-level jobs. So what do I mean by that? It's making sure that before you graduate, you're able to present very thoroughly, you're able to communicate well, you're able to be intermediate in Excel and PowerPoint, be a really good storyteller, and again, little things like this. I think once you do, and then having confidence, I think it's just very important. And so once you do enter your entry-level job, it's just much more. There are more skills you will need to develop in that role, but you will already have mastered the basics. So then things like how to receive or give feedback, or how to build relationships manager, like there's different more advanced skills you're going to be able to learning once you're in an entry-level job. I think that's I think the transition was easy because I couldn't wait to graduate school. school, I was, the 4 years, it does go by fast, but it's also very tiring and it's a lot of studying. So you can't wait to have an entry job and, have a good paycheck coming in. But at the same time, I think pressures like, putting boundaries at work, how to ask time off, like all the things like that, I think come into place, come into factors.
Thank you. Moving along, Muhsin, would you be next?
Yeah, sure. I think
Yeah.
similar like points to Muhsina's point of view. And one thing that I want to add is like, I feel like at college, there's someone that's always checking up on you and following up and making sure that you did something, but when you are at your entry level, that you need to sort of set standard goals to like be persistent and be really, on point with deadlines and making sure that you write the best emails. And I feel like you need to have those highest level of standards for yourself, because that's what you're going to take on and add additional skills to. Because if you're just like, that's fine, I'll learn it later, you're just gonna pick up on bad habits. But rather, like, I feel like beginning of the entry level stages, I feel that if you learn those basic skills and master it, then that'll be really helpful when you're at higher level. Because I'll tell you this, like, there's people at senior level that sends really, like, I guess, not at the best standard of emails, or like they just send like emails from their iPhones, and sometimes you want to take it to the next level, even though it's coming up informal to you. You want to take it to the next level and give them the best detail of information that they're asking for.
Definitely. Doing going the extra mile. Thank you. Ibrahim, would you like to go next?
Yep.
Yeah.
I agree with most of what has been said, and the only thing I can add you here is the fact. So when I got my first job, and I just heard a very good quote from my hiring manager, who said, "Hey Ibrahim, whenever I want to hire someone, I first of all look at their attitude, because the person with good attitude can always gain good aptitude." So that's why I would like to say here is, first of all, very much pay attention to your attitude, like how kind of person you are. Like, I am good at like what does it mean? Like, you have to be proactive, first of all, and then you have to show your passion, because there are many people, like even I lead some of the junior data scientists right now, and I see different people. Some of them are I can see from their, I can see the drive. Always try to show your drive. Hey, give me the problem, give me the direction, I will do the stuff. So in order to do that, you need to be very proactive, and you have to have a drive and passion. Only with the skills you can make sure that it's not about like being showing off yourself, but at the end of the day, you need to show your progress. So I think this is a very important, like building good attitude among your co-workers and your managers, and plus being like having a drive, passion, and of course being a proactive, because like you don't have to wait when the task will be assigned to you. You need to find yourself like proactively. You need to define like, hey, maybe there should be some fresh eye, right? Hey, can I improve that? What do you think? Should I try? This kind of like a communication is always helpful, I guess, and that's important for me personally.
That definitely makes sense. Bringing your best self, and of course, like adding on, going the extra mile. About last but not least, Ilmira, would you like to add on?
Yeah, of course. I mean, everything has been, everything has been said that like I agree to. I mean, something that I would add is especially like during your interviews, don't be a robot, not just like memorize everything, but actually have a personality. Because when I even ask my managers, like, why'd you do, like, choose me out of every other candidate, she said I had a personality. I was, have a good attitude, be patience, always smile, don't be grumbly, like, and then someone's like asking you questions, even if you don't know, you have to like kind of, explain your situation. And just communication is like a huge key to get into, I guess, any field.
Yeah, I can add something here. We have some time because Elmira mentioned a very good point about interview, right? So I had one candidate who was interviewing for the data science position, and she was honest. Like she told me, like, do you know this kind of, like, I asked a very difficult question in NLP, and she truthfully said, I don't know it. But after a week, she's emailing me saying, hey, you asked me this question. I went to the Coursera and I finished this kind of courses. And I also did this project, which is really related to your question. And eventually we hired that person. Like even if during the interview, she didn't answer the question right, but she was she was honest. And secondly, she showed your passion and drive that she can solve the problems. And that's, I think, really matters a lot. Thank you bringing up this point. That's a really good example as well.
Yeah.
Thank you for bringing up that example. Thank you for bringing up that situation. I think that is very something to keep in mind for the future for us, for students. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean,
So,
can I add something to it? Like, I feel like
please.
in the interview process, like everyone prepares for case studies and hardcore questions, which is great because that's what you need. But then also like, just be easy on yourself because they're looking for people that they want to work shoulder to shoulder with, and being able to like culture, because that's what they evaluate, culture fit. And sometimes that's really important, like a lot of the times, like that's more important than your actual skills, because you can transfer those and feed you and give you all these training sessions that you need when you're the right candidate for certain role. I feel like being open and adapting to new things, and like Ibrahim said, like just take on a challenge and excel it, and go the extra mile, like you said. Like just be open, like at the early stages, internships, take those new skills, like even if you don't need it, even if you think you don't need it, just that's like my take on that.
And that definitely helps. I like how this question created a more deeper question within it, and we got what we asked for, in-depth answer to our question. Thank you for that. So jumping on to a little bit about your work and your current role, I wanted to ask, what does a typical day or week look like for you at your specific company, at your specific job? Ilmira, would you be, can you start us off?
Yeah,
Thank
sure.
you. Thank you.
Even though I've been with JP only for 2 months, I could say it is a little bit stressful just because the timing is actually a lot with workflow. I would say, helping out the traders, I do say like it is super stressful, and being on a trading floor. Wait, can you repeat the question? Sorry.
Of course. So what does a typical day or a week look like for you at your role?
Right. Typical day. I would say how my typical day was going in SocGen. So I was managing collateral management. So I would do a lot of updating the data and making sure like I would monitor cash statements. So like anything that like comes in, wires in or out, I would make sure those are in and updated. And because the sales teams would look into it, and they need to make sure everything is updated, up to date, it's time management. So definitely like a lot of the things we need to get done before the deadlines, and because we don't want like the clients to go back to us and like, hey, why is this still not updated, and making sure that, everything's up to date, everything's is monitored, and also making sure there's like, someone else definitely checks your work. So making sure it's done, because a lot of times you think like, oh, I can do this later, and then it just piles that up.
For sure. Mukhsina, could you go next? Thank you.
Yeah, of course. I think my day-to-day differs very like every day. So I usually start off work at 8:30 or 8, depending. Some days I can work from, it's typical 8 to 5 or 8 to 6, and then there's some days where I'm working from 8 to 8 p.m. So again, I don't choose it. I usually start, and this is one of the reasons why I like my job, is like I go in every day saying, oh, I'm going to finish A, B, and C, and then on my plate, things like C, D, and X gets added. I work in the reinvestment team, which means when we have stock plan participants, and once we acquire E-Trade, we have a lot of clientele, and what we're trying to do is pair those clients with a financial advisor. And the purpose of this is to increase the firm's assets under management, the AUM. So a lot of my task is working with financial advisors, speaking with them, understanding what their products and services they're trying to sell to the client. So my role, again, it's a typical day. So I can be putting up a presentation for my manager. I could be doing data analytics to see which financial advisors are performing, why they're good. It can involve sometimes being more customer supportive, so actually speaking to financial advisor and helping them open an account. And then it could be very strategic, saying my manager's like, okay, like I think one of the projects we're working on, like we have different financial advisors, and understanding why this one was more successful than the other one. So doing a lot of more analytics and more strategic, and or where like the money's coming from. So my day-to-day, every single day, it differs, but I think I like it that way. It's very fast-paced. I get a lot of fire drills throughout the day. And then I think one thing is the balance that Morgan Stanley has. So I have the option to work from home, I think 2 days out of the week, which is very good. Sometimes 4 days like Black Friday, where you don't want to get up after Thanksgiving. But yeah, I never had a day where 2 days were very similar. It's always hectic, but busy hectic and good hectic.
Definitely. Going along, Ibrahim.
Yeah, your question sounds very simple, but very hard to answer for me, because my days, weekend totally differs from each other. So that's why maybe I liked being a data scientist rather than having every day the same thing, doing every day the same thing. It really depends on the stage of the project where we are, right, in a data science. Like, is it in a deployment stage? Is it validation, model validation, or building the model, or just getting the business requirements? So typically, but the thing is, what happens is every day we start the morning with stand-up call. It's like usually 10-15 minutes where we ask like a Jira tasks, where we are, do we have any blockers, are we doing our task? And then some projects I just mentor other data scientists, so I catch up with them about their progress. Are there any blockers? I do some, let's say, advice for them, or if they need one. And then I do my own work. It could be like building a model or talking to data engineers, because it's all about mostly about data, right? So like getting the right data, cleaning it, building different models. Usually it's all about experimenting, right? It's not like just getting your data and developing the model and that's it. No, it's like a lot of creativity you should have. For that, you need to have a lot of experiments. So most of my like 4 or 5 hours I spend for that. And then the most difficult part is to explain your results to the business people, right? This is the hardest part. And then I also prepare like how to say, like any different kinds of plots or a presentation or any kind of dashboard. or application for consumption of our analysis. Yeah, it's usually very hectic for me as well. So that's why if you don't have any passion towards data science, you will definitely feel like a burnout. So I would advise you should have a passion if you want to be a data scientist. Yeah,
For sure. Yeah, I think
it's
I
never
think
boring. That's for sure.
yeah, for sure. Going along to Muhsin.
Hey, I think I have like very similar answer to this. Like it's varied throughout the week, throughout the month, and I feel like based on my role as well, it's mostly in between like building team, because like I sit on the not on the finance team, I sit on the marketing team where we have like the digital and designers, where we have the events and marketing managers that support the sales side and that supports the products that we offer at Bloomberg. But marketing overall is an expense, and we invest a lot of our time and efforts throughout the year. And where my role comes in is making recommendations on where to invest and make strategic decisions on the resources, on the headcount, similar to technology that we're using, and going to different marketing technology that we currently own, and reading through contracts and being able to like read that and captivate what works for best for us, and if that's really the detail that we're looking to. And there's certain like changes in the cloud industry that, you know, our team invests in. Usually my my role comes in where I look into the budget and is if it's feasible, if it's something that we think we take the most value out. And usually my day-to-day is not always the same, and majority of the time I'm going in between risk and legal teams and marketing managers to read contracts and learning all across different practices, and it just sitting in operations role. Yeah,
Understood.
I'm not sure
Thank
if
you.
that answers like the day-to-day kind of aspect of the question.
No, definitely. No, I understand. I think it's a really vague question where it could be different for everybody, like for a different role. So definitely understood. Thank you so much, everyone, for answering, for letting us go through your day verbally. So going off with that question, I wanted to ask, what is the most frustrating and rewarding part of your day? And I'll make it up to you to start with the con or the pro. Let's start with Muhsin, if that's okay. Coming back to you straight away.
I think the rewarding part is we have the Bloomberg pantry for events, and we have pretty much all snacks and coffee, unlimited coffee, and lunch all the time free for employees, and all the other benefits like that comes in. And I feel like that welcomes, and it's always good to have that as an employee, because you're looking to balance out your normal day-to-day, and you need to have an employer that understands your needs throughout the day. And sometimes we sit on like the 27th floor, and we're not always keen to go downstairs to get something, you know. And they offer that kind of like even services that, you know, you may think like having nursing and like giving out like additional days for people that need to take time off for family. They're very flexible with things like that. I think that's really rewarding to be in a company that understands your basic needs.
For sure. Mukhsina, could you add on to this question?
Yeah, I think the most rewarding part is being a team where strategic decisions are done. I like the visibility to senior management. I like what I'm working on. It gets, it's the projects we're working on is mentioned by either our CEO or during earnings call. So I think that's most rewarding, like seeing your hard work. Again, it's not just me, but like the whole team's hard work pay off and being discussed. That's the most rewarding. I think the frustrating is sometimes the fire drills, being able to, if they ask something, responding right away with an answer. I think that's the most frustrating, but yeah.
Understand. Ilmira, could you go next?
Yeah. Something that rewards is definitely with my positions. I do lots of reconciliations, so making sure everything is like matching with the monitors and stuff. So definitely when it's everything is done, so that's definitely like nice to towards like the end of the day, especially. Also, what I like about JP, they are, I think it was also mentioned, but it was like they're flexible with working from home. And some days it's just so nice to like just being home, because I know it's like we have long hours and some you just, I don't know, because I live like long distance, so it takes me like an hour and a half sometimes to get home. So it's nice to work from home, especially when I know it's like, because it's towards the end of the month, that's like usually when it gets super busy. So like our managers, and they're very like okay with us to work from home, and like, or like even to finish our job at home, like sometimes because it's like we stay like so late that he lets us to just go home and finish it up. So that's definitely helpful a lot.
Sure. Last but not least, Ibrahim, would you like to, could you go next?
Yep.
Telling us about the most frustrating and rewarding part of your job.
Yeah, let's start from positive one. So I think the most rewarding is that Vanguard is like not privately owned company, right? So it doesn't have like a private. So it only makes money if the clients are, all their money is managed by their clients, basically, right? All the people who are saving for their life, and that's why for the Vanguard it's very important to have a like they call it crew, like employees as well, like so they care a lot about that. So I think they one of the top they offer like very good benefits. It can be like health care or any kind of matching for your 401k, and plus the managers are very caring as well. Like they really pay attention if you are burning out or not. They always ask how you're feeling, do you need anything, and they also provide specific like a budget for entertaining you. Like they give you like credit cards so that you can spend for what you like sports or going to the movies, etc. Right? So that's really good because so to some extent, like most of the software or data science roles, they're like a lot of burnout rate. So they try to help basically our well-being to be good. This is number one. And what about the frustrating part about work is that it's always changing. You don't know what kind of next business problem you're gonna solve, right? And there could be something that is really new for you. There are always new things, so that's why uh, to catch up with the trends which is going on in the industry, like reading new papers or learning about new technologies, new algorithms, is very much key, right? And that sometimes very much takes a lot of time because like business people will be asking you, hey, when you gonna deliver? But then it's all about, you don't know what you're gonna get at the end of the day, right? So you don't have a clear outcomes that could be visible as a software engineer. So that's why it's a little bit frustrating once that you finish the problem and the end result might not look like a very good, and how you're gonna deliver that. That's really makes things very depressed for me personally. Yeah, that's the most frustrating part.
I see. Going along with that question, talking about software and technology, Ibrahim, could we start with you on this question? What softwares, as a data scientist for you, what softwares and tools and techniques do your team use regularly?
Yeah, so like I will be talking at the same time giving advice. So first of all, never underestimate the importance of the storytelling, how you're gonna basically present your results, right? So like getting the data, putting into the model, it's a very easy task. So you have to be very creative. In order to be very creative, you should have a very good skills in data visualization. So like data visualization techniques like Tableau, Power BI, or any kind of Python packages related to that is very helpful. Secondly, understanding of the statistics. Yes, deep learning, artificial intelligence, AI, it's all hype words, right? But all the fundamentals belongs to math and statistics. Please do understand them, because just using them in the package, it's really easy job. But you need to understand how they work actually. And for that, you need to understand real fundamentals. And when you go to the interviews, they know it's very rare cases they ask you about very difficult questions like what is deep learning, etc., how neural network works. They usually ask you very simple statistics question, and many, unfortunately, candidates do not know these simple questions. They know deep learning, how to use it in Python, but they don't know what is the background, how they actually work, right? So deeply understanding that is very important. And thirdly, I would say reading, a lot of reading. You need to read a lot of papers, because reading skills reading comprehension is very important, because this industry is always changing. And to keep up for that, you need to be with the community. So be part of it's not like a technical skill, but try to be part of like different meetups, like PyData meetup or R meetups or any data science meetups in your school or in your like neighborhood. Be part of them, because talking to people, like being part of this kind of clubs or meetups is very crucial in your job, in day-to-day job, basically. Yeah, that's all I can share on that.
Certainly, thank you. Going along to Mukhsina, what software, tools, and techniques does your team use regularly?
I agree with the storytelling. Storytelling is very underrated or undervalued. I've seen presentations from my team who's like the PowerPoint looks like an art piece, but the story doesn't flow, or like there's no point to the PowerPoint, it just looks pretty. So being able to be a storyteller is very important. I do agree with the data visualization too as well. Especially in your finance role, you're going to be working with a lot of data points. So understanding which way to show it so that the senior management understands it is very, very important skill. My day-to-day, I use Excel very often. So, being able to use Excel without the keyboard and mouse will be very helpful. Learning Excel macro, that a lot of times right now employers are looking for is automating like mundane tasks like boarding. So macros, Tableau became very important in our firm recently, just because they want to be able to do, they want to hire analysts who can do dashboards so that, you don't have to create the same flow over again. The Tableau, PowerPoint, definitely. And then, let's see. No, I think those are technical. I think emotionally, it would be emotional IQ. I think the way you talk to your manager, and the way if you want something from them, emotional IQ is so important. It's understanding what, for example, like Mukhsina, like what do they care about, and seeing if you can answer your question. Like it's being able to read someone's mind and then saying, I know you're going to ask, so here's what I found. It's so important. So your first 3 months, be like a sponge, learn everything you can. If you're in a team of 7, make sure you understand what every single person is doing, how they're doing their job, because it's not like you're going to take over their job. It's more like it's going to help you. So this is an advice that someone gave me, is like, whenever you join a new team, set up time with every single person on that team member saying, hey, I really want to know what you do in the team, can you teach me? And then it just makes you a stronger person. So be a sponge, and then the technical skills will come.
Good. Next, coming next to Mira.
Yes, some of the technical softwares that JP uses, definitely Excel macros, so you need to understand. And if there's like errors, it's so important to like know what the error comes from, I think, to understand. Like, so you don't have to, because sometimes I don't like, I don't want to ask every little questions or something. I just want to develop definitely like outside your working hours. If you can like, learn those skills, definitely helps a lot in your day-to-day work, and especially if you're working with lots of macros. Some of the things as a traders they use, just I don't know how would I explain it, just some of their own softwares and algorithm that we have, but I don't know how much of a I could say. That's why.
Definitely. I can definitely understand confidentiality is important. But we get the picture. Thank you. Last but not least, Muhsin.
Yeah, I agree with a lot of those points. In contrast to storytelling, I feel like there's one more thing that I could add is being able to summarize and provide short charts or details over the email that fits in an iPhone screen. Because it's just really like, it's usually, we need to be able to have the skill to summarize and give a short detail of all KPIs, or basically what your managers or what your leadership is looking for. You don't need to send a Excel sheet with all these graphs and all these like details. They're not really looking to invest their time to like look into all those details. They're just looking for what the answer is. So getting to that and being able to explain that with providing bullet points and in short, summarizing it, it's really helpful. And also like another technique I think is really helpful with for everyone is when you set up, like, I mean, it's great to set up one-on-ones with your colleagues, and like Mukhsina said, you need to know what everyone's roles is within your team, because you can't operate without knowing who your contacts are within your team. But also like set up time. When you set up time, provide context to that, what you're trying to achieve, or set up an agenda so that you're not going into a meeting without having like a baseline of what you're achieving in that specific time. Or so the meeting is productive and you're doing the due diligence of getting those details and answering people, or you're able to solve a problem within that period of time, because that, I think that's misunderstood in a lot of cases, and that's just like a point I wanted to highlight. It's not a
Thank you for that.
misunderstood, sorry, it's just like a misstep, I would particularly say.
Thank you. Going a little bit deeper into your different roles within your company, this question is a little bit more targeted towards Mukhsina and Ibrahim, since you have both been in your companies for, I believe, like more than a year, if I'm right. So my question is, how have you been pivoting different roles within or maybe outside of your company, and how has that process been for you? Any tips you can give?
So the Morgan Stanley has a really good analyst program. So it's a 2-year program where you're going to rotate into 3 different teams with 8 months each in each role. It's the reason why I like the rotational analyst program is because I think right out of college you don't know what your opportunities look like. You don't know what teams are out there, especially within the firm. So I think my first 8 months in the team was in analytics and data. So we work with data scientists, we work with data visualizations, so it was definitely much more technical heavy role. And then I completed my 8 months, and now I'm in reinvestment, which is very much more strategic. And then my next role is going to be a more financial product role. So I'm going to be rotating off to an alternate investment product role. So working with hedge funds, with all of those things. But again, it's still within the company, and it's while as an analyst, I have like different roles. So I'm able to expand my network. So for me, those changes were very much organic. I didn't raise my hand to make those changes. It's a program. So I my employers and my managers respect that after 8 months, I'm going to rotate off to a different team in especially within the firm. I think, I was very lucky I was in this program because I think sometimes it's so easy to be in a company for 3 years and doing the same thing, and you're realizing after 3 years, hey, I don't actually enjoy doing it. So I like the experimental side of the analyst program, saying, okay, well, I like analytics and data, but it's very tech heavy. I want a more strategic role, or now I want more financial product role. So again, I think it's when you're choosing a company, do your research. What kind of programs out there? I think a lot of companies have these special programs within their company. They have like a graduate program, they have a diversity program, they have analyst program. Like myself, I'm in it. So in those roles, it's an organic transitions between roles. And at the end of the 2 years, I actually can say, okay, I actually really like reinvestment. I want to stay here. And I think within those 2 years, I was able to basically get an experience within 3 different teams.
Thank you for walking us through that process and introducing us to it. Thank you. Ibrahim, could you go next?
Yeah, the context of the question is more like how transitioning from one role to another role, right?
Yes. Pivoting different roles within your company, or how has that transition been for you, and like any recommendations for us to have the same path?
Yeah, it's like would be a little bit different answer. Unfortunately, my transitions were not like organic. So I went through so basically one thing is in a tech industry is like data science is mostly like a tech, we could say. In big tech firms, or like in any big data science organization, it's very, very difficult to have a promotion. That's like you will spend a lot of years, even like in FANG companies like Meta or Facebook, or Apple, etc. Right? So transitioning between the company takes a lot of time. So that's why usually people switch their position with another companies, right? So the same happened with me. So I was working in a consulting firm, and I can tell you one interesting thing is that how I transitioned my role from internship to, for example, as a data science full-time. So they just hired me for 3 months to solve one problem, and then they wanted to let me go, basically. But then in this 3 months, I loved so much this project that I didn't just give them solution, but I just give them a continuous solution as an application that they can use daily basis to make their analysis. And they said, oh, we need this guy. We don't have any plan to hire him, but we need this guy. So they hired me for full time. So I don't know. So in this sense, it really depended on me, how I want to, like, because of my output, they transition me for the full time. So you need to show yourself, number one. And secondly, when I was working as an NLP data scientist, I was working already 2 years on that project, and I was very much specifically tailored my skills towards the NLP, because data science is a very huge field. There are many other fields as well, like recommendation systems, computer vision, NLP, right? And I was very much went through the very specific direction which I didn't want to happen, and the promotion was also not getting a fast way. So then I decided I need to pursue another role with another company where I will have more exposure towards different kinds of problems, and that's what I had. So it's most of my transition is triggered by my own wills, and basically changing my basically professional goals.
Thank you for answering that. Anything to add on by Muhsin, Ilmira, anything you would like to add on to the discussion from your perspective, from your experience?
I haven't really transitioned into like different role. I mean, I can say much from my background to like in different fields of internships that I have done. Like transitioning, it's not organic transitioning or like trying, but I think working with different teams is always like helpful when you're preparing to a transition at a higher level. And I don't have a lot to share on that note, but I feel like being able to work with different teams and getting adopted by different, every management is different, every team is different and how they operate, and being able to fit into that quickly and possibly learn what their needs are, that's a skill that you can always take on to your journey.
Sure. Thank you for answering our questions. For so far, time has passed really quickly. We want to continue asking questions, a lot of questions. So thank you for being with us. Because of time, we're going to move on to the participants' questions. If any participants have questions, feel free to unmute yourself and ask away, or you can also put it in the chat. I know we have few in the chat already. So I'm going to start with those. Okay, going back to this question by Mohina. Do you think a specific club or a class that helped you become successful in your role right now? I want to come back to Mohsin. Could you start us off?
Yeah, sure. I think like sure, the classes that's offered in your major that's required, those are really helpful. But aside from that, just from Baruch offered classes, I really enjoyed management operations class. I think it's the 3122, if I'm not mistaken. Another class is managerial accounting, and it's really like basic accounting, but it goes a long way. And you can take on the next class, like the upper classes, to excel your accounting skills and also Excel skills. But those are like two main classes that I think I can think of right now.
For me, it was Discipline Honors Program. I think it's like the initials are DUHP. So if you have a GPA of higher than 3.6, if you're in discipline school, you apply. In those classes, those are very business analytic heavy classes. The two professors I recommend is Ken Abbott and Professor Ong, ONG. So both of these professors have actually were MDs in their prior roles who are now kind of transitioned to more teaching roles. And Professor Ong specifically, he used to basically be the strategic head of a big oil company. And during his class, he made us think outside the box. He made us basically come up with, like he would give us a problem and come up with different solutions and then give support why we chose this. So I think out of all of the classes, Professor Abbott's and Professor Ong's classes were definitely, I think it was very similar to how Harvard and Yale classes are taught. So I definitely recommend those, to be honest.
Thank you. Ilmira, Ibrahim, would you like to add on your experience during your undergrad and your master's?
Like it's an answer for Mohina's question, right?
Yes, a specific club, school club, or a class that helps you become successful.
So as most of our listeners are from Baruch, and I'm not sure what kind of class or club I can advise for them. But definitely, if you want to be like, if you want to pursue your analytics in a more of a like in a financial way, then I would really suggest you to take some of the Dan Stefanica classes from Baruch MFE program. They have some prerequisite classes dedicated for financial engineering. It's basically, even though it's a financial engineering, but the backgrounds on the some of their quite like classes very much close to applying basically data science in finance. So I would definitely advise to take these prerequisite courses they have on linear algebra, on statistics, and also fundamentals of computing in financial engineering. Yeah.
Ilmira, would you also like to answer this question for us?
Just to add to everyone else, some of the recommendation, I guess I would say, for taking a good class, I would one thing that definitely helped me was one of my professors was Dr. Lewin. He was economic professor. He was actually super abroad with his class. It wasn't just specifically for understanding the topic. It was actually just understanding each situation in like no matter which role or like which like major you were in. He was super like abroad, and he would actually learn like a lot. It was he taught us some trading skills, he taught us some management skills, and it was actually very helpful for the future, kind of the career future.
Awesome. I'm glad these professors made an impact for you. I'm really excited for the students to search them up on Meet My Professor and plan their next semester. Thank you for sharing. Moving on to Zarina. Thank you for raising your hand to ask a question. The floor is yours.
Yes, thank you. Hello, everyone. So thank you for coming on tonight and telling us all about your journey. But my question is, maybe it's a little more specific to those who worked at the Big Four consultant firms, but it can be for anyone as well. What made you choose your firm or company over any other company that you may have interned with or had considered but didn't like go with? And also specifically of the Big Four firms, like, yeah, that's my question.
I can go if that's okay. So I interned at PwC, and when I declared my major in sophomore year, I said I wanted to be accounting, and definitely Big Four was like, if I was going to go anywhere, it would be one of the Big Fours. So what helped me most is these schools come to Baruch, and I would highly encourage you to actually be there when they're coming, because you get to meet with people and you see if you have a connection. When PwC came, or like when people would talk about PwC, one thing I would notice is how they would say, oh, PwC people are in a different level. And I was like, okay, what do you mean by that? And they would say, well, they're the most hardworking, whatever they put out, and they're very recognized in the market as well. So for example, if you have a company like PwC in your resume, you have a higher chance of getting hired to any, I would say, other firms too, because they have contracts, they have consulting contracts with other, like Goldman Sachs and Morgan Stanley, other firms too. So my advice is when you're choosing a company, and how I chose actually Morgan Stanley is, again, very similarly, junior year, they came to my school and I met someone who was an accounting major, who is now in wealth management, who works at PwC, and I was like, oh, like I saw myself in her, and I was like, oh, I really want to become her. So again, when you're meeting these people, or like when you're going to events like this, see if you have a connection with them. See if their story kind of, is related to yours. See if their values. Look at each company's like core values. I think it's listed in their company website. just read through them. Which are the core values that you value when choosing a company? And then I would also mention, like, go on Reddit and see what the company culture actually looks like. Because when these companies come, they're always like rainbows and sunshines. Our company is amazing, but I think once you're in it, some of these companies are so toxic where you don't want to work with them more than 2 months. So having those inside scoop into those companies is very important. So I'm going to give a shout out to my company, Morgan Stanley. I think the reason I chose them is because of their mentorship. During my summer internship, I was like, they were people who was like, what do you like? They pushed me, and they pushed me so well in saying, like, to be more opinionated, to build my confidence. And like, there are a lot of woman leadership, and like, some of these companies, you see their leadership board and it's all white males. And then I think it was Morgan Stanley where I saw like women in managing director roles, and I said, well, I want to be like them one day, and if this is a company that supports it, then I want to work for a company like that. So yeah.
Thank you.
Great, thank you. Anybody else would like to add on to this question?
Just a pointer, like majority of these firms that you're looking to intern, they may or may not host like foundational like courses or like exploration days. With Bloomberg, I mean, there's many of them for sophomores and juniors. And for me, I have joined like different events at Bloomberg, and I really enjoyed the people. The culture is really great, and you get to really ask, like, meet one-on-one with different people around, like not the hiring managers, but also like people that actually, focus on different areas of the business, and you get to ask what the culture is, like similar to what you do on your research, but ask directly who they're working with and how's the culture, and you get to see it in person if that's the opportunity. I mean, I think we're back in person now, like majority of the events are happening, especially for internships. Like there's definitely like opportunities if you research, you'll be able to join, like, and it's a great opportunity, right? Like you get to see the building that you're potentially looking to join and talk to these people. So research, meet people, ask questions.
And also I can add here, I'm fully on board with Mukhsina's point, because she elaborated the most key significant points. The only thing I can add you here, when I was choosing my next employer, I didn't have any idea what kind of company should be, financial or like tech. Basically, I didn't care about it. So the final decision was made by the team who interviewed you, right? Actually, throughout the process, you will be interviewing with multiple people, like from senior managers or like basically the people who you work with. And I felt myself, oh, I can make a good relationship with these people, right? That's why I made it my decision. So I think this is also very key. So the people who basically interview are more likely will be the ones you will be working with. So that's why, for me, that played a lot of a crucial role. They were very nice and very chill guys. So that's I like most about them. So I just joined that company. So pay attention for that as well, like what people you will be working with.
So I could totally agree. Thank you. Anybody else have any other questions for our panelists? Feel free to leave them in the comments, or you could raise your hand to, we have next one, Diora, please go ahead.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for this interview. I'm getting a lot of very valuable insights. Currently, I'm graduating, associate's degree from Kingsborough and transferring to Baruch. I'm I didn't do any internships yet, but I'm looking for a job. I have only 1 year of teacher assistant like experience, and so like I'm getting rejected. So I even can't get the interview. So how I could like, I don't know, reach even to interview stage? I don't know, like advice. Thank you so much.
I could enter that. So some of the things that like could help you is definitely getting your certificates to the jobs you're applying, like making sure you understand which role are you applying to and what they're required. So like I know in Baruch, they actually provide some of the certificates like for free just because you using their email. So that's something that you can like making sure that you can do that might help you. I don't know what else I could add to that.
I would also recommend if a company is coming to your school, so for example, if PwC isn't coming to Kingsborough or Borough College, that means that they're going to be hiring from them. That means that that's their target school. So what I would recommend is like once you join Borough College, go to the Career Center and see what companies are, what companies are visiting them, and actually go there and like have your business card ready, or like ask for people for their business card and saying, introduce yourself. What I would also recommend is then set up a coffee chat afterwards. So once you have their business card, email them saying, hi, it was really great speaking with you. I'm an accounting major. I'm like here, I just transitioned, and I really enjoyed speaking with you. I wanted to learn more about your role. So you meet them, you ask a question, you ask them, hey, is there anyone I can connect? Is there anyone else you recommend I connect with? It becomes a chain reaction where you're going to be able to meet everyone on her team, and then you're going to ask that, ask that sensitive question. It's like, hey, I see your team's hiring, can you help me prepare for interviews, or like what's, so once you get more comfortable, I think you can ask those sensitive questions like, hey, can you help me prepare for interview? Or you can even say like, for some reason I'm getting, I wouldn't say rejected, but I would say like, I think I need more help. I think definitely, I think you guys already know, like applying online is not, it's like, it has the lowest rate of acceptance for a job. The things that make a difference is actually meeting people from there. So even when you're on LinkedIn, let's say you want to work at Goldman Sachs, see who Baruch students that went to Goldman Sachs who are in UzSA and reach out to them saying, hi, I'm like this, I saw, I really liked your background, can I set up some time? It's less about applying for the company, it's more of like meeting people at those companies, because those companies, I can tell you, for example, anytime someone sets up a coffee chat, I actually have to enter it into our system saying, hey, like Umida, let's put in, she had a coffee chat with me, she's interested in the role, and then automatically that person's name gets flagged. So when that person sends an application, actually it has a higher chance of going to for an interview or the next process. The next advice, and my last advice, is career fair. Even be in the career fair, have your resume ready, and then always ask for business cards, and then set up time afterwards. I think that would be my advice to you.
Yeah, can I add a point there? I feel like coming to Baruch, you can leverage STAR with like mastering your resume, and like I know it's hard to like build a nice resume with like little experience, but you can have a focus on like what skills you can offer in best formatting, and have it polished, and whenever you go to those career fairs, maybe have copies ready and drop them off at the desks of the recruiters, because they do usually go through them and pick out who they want to reach out, or maybe add you to certain email lists for opportunities that may come up in in the future. So I think focus on your resume, continue to update it. I know there's little to update every month or maybe every 6 months, but skills or certifications, those like little things that you think is valuable that you want to offer, maybe have a different versions for different opportunities, because you want to highlight what's really being asked on the job description, not rather than what you already know, what's on your background.
Thank you for answering that question. We have another question from Diara in the chat. She said, what kind of positions I could apply in finance and banking industry with that experience, with an associate's degree in business administration? If anybody has any tips, we would appreciate it. If anything, I could say, oh, go ahead, Muhsin, sorry.
I think bookkeeping jobs is a great entry point. Especially, I think they only require like 3 months of experience. And if you're an accounting major and you're doing an internship, I think the keyword would be bookkeeping. I think those are definitely, entry-level positions.
For sure. Just adding on, just like Muhsin said, she said it perfectly. Startups, working in startups, there's a lot of startups that can be found online. And even though the pay isn't going to be great, it's still experience and could add on for the future. Any other questions from participants? All right, if not, we have dropped down a Google form in the chat. We would appreciate any feedback from our participants, our panelists. We would appreciate you filling it out. Thank you so much. If there's, yes, thank you so much. Ending it off, thank you for all of our panelists. We've learned so much in what feels like a short amount of time. That has gone really fast, but it's actually have been more than an hour and a half, going for 2 hours. So thank you so much for spending your valuable time helping us, answering our questions. Each one of them helped us tons. For me, even like a lot. So thank you very much. And we're really happy that you're really helping us and that we got your LinkedIns in the chat. I hope everybody connects with you all, because I know each one of you are just amazing people, inside and out in your professions, very inspiring. So we're hoping to look up to you and be as successful. Thank you very much. Any final comments from anyone?
Thank you, Hilal, for this opportunity. You are like an amazing moderator today, so thank you for your amazing questions. And to everyone at Baruch, I wish you guys best of luck. I think Baruch, you're in a special advantage being in Baruch and having this community. Definitely leverage us if you have any questions, if you have interviews coming up, or you need help, filling out applications, or you need help with your resume. We're here for you. We were once in your shoes, so we understand the struggles sometimes you're going through, but just so you know, we're here for you, and that, please feel free to message us or leverage us for support. It would make our day if one day we can help you find jobs. I think it would make our like whole career path journey more meaningful. So definitely, we're here for you guys.
Thank you very much. All right. No more, without further ado, thank you so much for spending your evening with us. Best of luck to everyone. And hopefully we can see everyone again in the next alumni panel and more events coming soon, in-person events, hopefully. To promote, I believe we're having an ice skating event, Timur and Mukhsina. So we're looking forward to everyone who can attend. Thank you very much for a great like hour and a half. Thank you, everyone. Goodbye. Sending big virtual hugs to
Bye.
everyone.
Bye.
Thank you
Thank you
so
everyone
much.
for having us.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.